Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Tina Salisbury with Combined Arms, and this afternoon we are with three of the ladies from the Mission Continues. Monique Sapp, who's the Regional Operations Director, and Elizabeth Barlow, the newest Senior City Impact Manager, and T'Liza Kiel, the Alumni Engagement Director. So I'm going to give each of you just a few moments, introduce yourself, tell us how long you've been with the Mission Continues and what your role is, and if you have any military experience, what your military background is as well. So Monique, starting with you.
Sure. I'm Monique Sapp. I have been with the Mission Continues. It'll be 5 years in September. I am an Army veteran, and I am the Regional Operations Director, one of two in our West region for the Mission Continues.
All right, thank you. And you recently promoted to the regional director position, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I was promoted in January and had the opportunity of hiring an awesome addition to the TMC team, Elizabeth Barlow, who is now the Senior City Impact Manager for Houston. So really excited to have her on board.
Perfect. So let's have Elizabeth introduce herself.
Thanks. So I'm Elizabeth Barlow, the new Senior City Impact Manager for Houston. I am a military spouse. My husband's active duty Coast Guard, and I've been with the Mission Continues a little over a month now.
Thank you. Yes, my name is T'Liza Kiel, and I am the Alumni Engagement Director for the Mission Continues. I have served on staff for a little under a year, but I've been a Go Hard volunteer for about 5 or 6 years, I don't know, since 2014. And I served in the military for 8 years. Excited to be here with you guys.
All right, thank you so much for introducing yourself. So Monique, can you tell us what's the mission of the Mission Continues?
Sure. So we are definitely a national nonprofit. We empower those veterans who still have a desire to serve once they leave the military, to serve in a different way. And this is to serve alongside some of our neediest, or if that's even a word, our most vulnerable communities. And we do that in a variety of ways. We have the service platoon, right, where you can be involved in a community of non-veterans and veterans doing work in underserved communities. You can do that by joining the Women's Veteran Leadership Program, right, and being amongst a lot of military women and empowering them that way. And then we have our Service Leadership Corps, where if you have a desire to be a leader in your community, right, we have a program that teaches you about asset-based community development and how to go out and create a movement in the communities that need us the most.
All right. And how long has the Mission Continues been an organization?
We have been an organization since 2007. And so we hit our 10-year mark 2017, and now it's 2020, and we've definitely entered into a new era of what volunteerism could look like, right, with COVID-19. But we're still engaged as ever. We are finding different ways to engage our members through virtual service projects, virtual service opportunities. And I know Elizabeth and T'Liza can speak more to how they're doing that in Houston, and T'Liza with her alumni. But across the country, right, we're doing virtual projects, whether we are pledging to go outside for a walk and clean up in our communities, to maybe doing something more socially fun like painting with a twist that's happening across the country come this Friday. So we're still finding ways to engage our volunteers in the midst of COVID-19. And what we're seeing is they want to be engaged, you know, they want to do things that maybe, you know, they can't do right now. So we're finding innovative ways to keep them engaged. And we're happy to see that there are people out there that say, hey, we still want to be a part of what the Mission Continues is doing, even though we have to kind of modify how we're doing it right now.
All right, thank you, Monique. So Elizabeth, can you tell us in the Houston area, what do you have going on with your platoons? How many service platoons do you have, and how many people does that consist of?
Sure. So we have 5 service platoons in the Houston area. Each platoon has a different number of members, but we have well over 1,000 people who actually volunteer in multiple platoons. So someone in the 1st service platoon can absolutely attend a service project or a social event in the 5th service platoon. And that being said, to Monique's point, we're really trying to still connect with our platoon members and even engage new people who would be interested in joining us and serving on a platoon, as well as family members and other people in the community. We actually have some fun events coming up virtually. So our 1st platoon has a virtual mani-pedi class that we're doing as kind of a form of self-care. So far it's been pretty popular. We've had a lot of registrations in that, and that's going on May 16th from 4 to 5. We actually have the registration link for all of our upcoming events on the Combined Arms events section of the website. And so you can go there and register. We'd love for everyone to attend that might be interested in a mani-pedi. We're going to have a manicure technician join us and do it with us to teach us how to do it. Everyone that registers is going to receive a small mani-pedi kit and polish that'll be mailed out. And then we also have a service event, a virtual service event called Plant the Seed with Houston 4th Service Platoon, where we are going to foster seedlings and then donate those to Blodgett Urban Gardens once it's safe to serve there again and plant those. And that is happening virtually on the 21st from 5 to 6 p.m. And again, you can register for that event at the link on the Combined Arms website. And for the guys, we also have some great workout classes coming up with Earl, the manager of the gym at Combined Arms. He did one recently, and my whole family joined. We had a great turnout. The kids loved it. We did some good stretching, and it was great. He tailored it pretty nice. My husband had knee surgery not long ago, and he was able to participate too. And so we're definitely going to do some more of the workouts coming up as well. And family movie nights. We're really trying to think of what's going to engage folks, and we want to be very cognizant of this is a great time for self-care, especially because of everything going on and, uncertainty. So we're planning for that, and we're still looking to engage folks. So we would love for anyone interested in joining to go register on the Combined Arms website and join us.
So in order to participate in any of those events, do you have to be a member with the Mission Continues, or is it open to anyone? How would somebody get involved?
Sure. So anyone is able to go on and register for the event and join in, especially with our Plant the Seed project. We're actually working with Humana. They're interested in doing something in a garden setting. So we thought it'd be a great time to go ahead and prep seeds to take to Blodgett Urban Gardens. So they're going to be registering to join us for Plant the Seed. So yeah, we would love for anyone interested in joining us to go on and register and join in.
And is that open to veterans only, or their family members, their friends? Is it, how inclusive or exclusive are you?
Great question. So we are very inclusive. We're open to veterans, families, their children, their friends. We're just trying to make it a somewhat inclusive get together of everyone who's interested in serving with us, or, just maybe getting to know us. And then hopefully you'll want to come back and volunteer too.
Okay, so how do the platoons work? You said you have 5 platoons. If somebody joins the Mission Continues, how do they decide what platoon they're on, or what's the differences between those?
Sure. So when you actually go on to our website, you can see all of our different service platoons and the certain areas that we cover throughout the city. And you can also, when you're looking for an event to attend, you can put in your zip code, and you can even sort it by dates, and it'll show you the different platoons that are available for you to serve. And you can go to a platoon outside of where you're located. If there's something going on that another service platoon is engaged in that really interests you, you could attend that as well.
Okay, so they're mostly geographically separated. That's just how you separate the platoons.
Correct.
All right. And then this is a question for either you or Monique. How does the national organization work? How many locations do you have, or is this in every state, every region?
So we are in 56 cities across the nation. And I know we're pubbing Houston, but right now all of those cities, well, majority of them are hosting virtual events. So let's just say that someone in Houston wants to get connected with a platoon in Philly that's hosting a really cool virtual event. They can definitely go to Philly's website and say, I want to partake in this event. And we love that, right? This virtual world has allowed us to really collaborate with other platoons in a way that we haven't before. I mentioned painting with the twist that's happening this Friday. There are actually platoons from across the nation that are going to be conducting this painting with the twist, or participating with painting with the twist. And right now there's over like 100 participants nationwide that are going to be participating. So I want to say, yes, go to Houston, do our virtual events. But if there are some things that you want to do outside of Houston, right, please feel free to look at other virtual events in other cities. And you can find out where those cities are on our website, the missioncontinues.org. Go to service platoons and scroll down, and you'll see where we are located on our map. If you scroll down even further, you'll see all the service platoons, and you can click on that link and you'll see the virtual opportunities pop up.
All right. And then I also wanted to talk about the big service project that you usually do, the mass deployment, scheduled for Houston, the Bayou City Blitz, right?
Yes.
So I know that got canceled. What's the plans for that, or it got postponed? What are you doing with that now?
So it was just postponed. But we now have dates, November 11th through November 18th. And we are going to keep the same model. We figured doing it with that November 11th date, combining it with Veterans Day, right, really pushes the narrative of veterans helping the community. And we thought that that would be a great week to kickstart off our mass deployment. We have not changed the locations of where we're doing our projects. So we're still going to be in Independence Heights, working at the Veteran Retreat Center. We'll be at Blodgett Urban Gardens, Jane Long Academy and Los Americas Newcomer School in Gulfton, and Betsy Ross Elementary in Cashmere Gardens. So we are keeping the same model. We just pushed it back. And we are also looking at ways of how we are going to stay safe during mass deployment. And that's with face masks, sanitizing equipment, all of those things. So those are definitely on the forefront of our minds as we're planning in the midst of COVID, and definitely want to make sure that we implement that during mass deployment as well. We definitely want to make sure that we are staying safe. That is definitely paramount. You know, right now we're not doing any in-person service events. We said we would possibly go back when things look like they are right, and we don't know, we can't necessarily say when that is the right time. So we will still be pushing virtual events until the powers that be, you know, our president and our senior VP say, hey, this is the time. But right now virtual events are what we're doing, and until we know those safety precautions and how to make sure that we're safe at events moving forward, we're going to stay with this model for the betterment of our volunteers and for the safety of them as well.
So those locations that you mentioned for that mass deployment, are those all Harvey affected locations?
Yes. So, and I would be remiss to say that the reason why mass deployment is here is because of Hurricane Harvey. You know, with COVID-19, it seems like there's a disaster coming every few years now, right? But we don't want to forget that Houston is still recovering from Harvey in a lot of ways. And it's easy to forget when we're now going through another serious matter, right, with this pandemic. And so mass deployment is just another reminder that we haven't forgotten about our communities. We know that they're still out there needing some relief from Harvey. And we're hoping that that week of service will definitely, you know, I will say will definitely aid in the fact that we are still there to support that. And we're so happy that we have, you know, the funders that we have that support us. And we will continue to help with Harvey relief moving forward. Our first one was in Detroit. And our second one, I can go down the list. Our second one was in Atlanta. Third one was in LA. Our fourth one, you know, was just in Baltimore. And now this one will be in Houston. Historically, what I've heard is that each day we look at scaling a project between 150 to 200 volunteers, right? So that could easily mean over a 5-day project, you've got about 1,000 volunteers that come out within that week. And that may shift and change being in the new era that we're in right now. But I know that projects like this, we normally scale for larger numbers of volunteers than we would normal service projects that we do on a day-to-day.
And just kind of going back to how those cities were picked, like Monique, I can't speak fully to it, but I think it's important for everyone who is watching this or is involved with the Mission Continues to know and to trust that a lot of logistical planning goes into place. So it's not, you know, one person or one department that strategically decides on which city makes the most sense. There's a multitude of factors that go into place based off of needs assessments, based off of surveys, based off of strategic cities that we are involved with, and then also based off of what's doable. Funding, there's a lot that goes into place. Fortunately, with Houston being one of our strategic cities, having a dire need and also a local team here to support, it made ultimate sense for mass deployment to be here in our great city for the 2020 year. And then moving forward, we have an idea where mass deployment will be in the next 3 years. But because that information is not 100% set in stone, nor has it been communicated on a national platform yet, we can't quite say, but we are excited about the cities to come that will also be supporting through a mass deployment.
I believe there's a question, how can someone be a part of mass deployment? So there will be, and I'm not sure when this is going to go out, but there's an application process, right? For those veterans that want to attend mass deployment, they go through an application process, and we will definitely notify. There will be information sent out on a broad scale when that application opens. But for those that are in Houston that want to be a part of mass deployment, I know Elizabeth here is going to be setting up a host committee and resourcing volunteers to help us throughout that week. So if there is, outside of maybe just showing up for the service project days, right? If you want to be a little bit more engaged and kind of help, I would get with Elizabeth Barlow, who's going to be creating that host committee to figure out where you can plug and play, because we will definitely want support from Houston. We have the largest footprint in the nation with 5 service platoons. And we definitely want the help of, you know, veterans and non-veterans alike, however you would like to participate, to definitely have the opportunity to do so. And I really do feel that segues into T'Liza and her alumni engagement and how she's looking at how alumni can be involved as well.
So Elizabeth and I will be meeting together on how we are further going to include our both local alumni, but even on a national platform. So we know just historically hosting mass deployments across the nation that our followers, our volunteers, our diehard mass deployment alum, they can't get enough. So there's an immense amount of alum that have participated in a mass deployment as a crew member, as a program participant, and has come back, whether it was to be an ambassador for the next year's mass deployment, or whether they decided, I'm just gonna self-deploy. I volunteer, I'm flying out to whichever city we're gonna be in, booking a hotel or Airbnb, and I'm gonna be there. And so, because we know that we have a group of folks that are gonna do that, almost like a wedding crasher, but we'll call them mass deployment crashers, right? We've already been doing some outreach to identify who plans on coming to Houston. And so we did a big outreach in the beginning of the year to find out who those folks were so that we can use them in a more strategic way to help support boots on ground projects that will need help during our prep days, ways that we can really expand their expertise and support the local projects that are occurring during mass deployment. So with that being said, even with the movement of mass deployment being rescheduled to November, if you are an alum, if you are a mass deployment alum specifically, and you know that you're going to fly into Houston and self-deploy for this year's mass deployment, just please make sure you contact me, because we are definitely going to put you guys to work, and we want to ensure that we prepare and support you during that event.
So yeah, thanks so much everybody for tuning in to learn more about the Mission Continues and what we're doing on a local and national level. As Monique mentioned, if you're interested in joining us for service projects or for the host committee for mass deployment that I'm currently working to assemble with the help of T'Liza and for our alum, please reach out to me. I will pass along my contact information to Tina to have her include in the post to this video or in another spot that she so chooses that makes sense. And I'd be happy to connect you with a local platoon leader if you're interested in getting involved with the Mission Continues. And hopefully you can join us for one of our virtual engagements, and just keep an eye out on the Combined Arms website for any upcoming events.
And speaking of our virtual events as well too, Tina, I know you wanted us to touch base on this. You know, we're obviously in unprecedented times, right? And so everyone has had to adapt and overcome within their organizations. And with the Mission Continues being a very connected organization where we pride ourselves, I mean, it's part of our Empowered Veteran Index. It's part of our core values to not only encourage learning and growing and trusting and just providing opportunities for veterans to connect and continue to serve. We've had to be extremely innovative in how we're doing that. And so we just want our volunteers to know that, you know, we're here with them. And if they want to continue to know what we're doing in support and in line of, you know, COVID-19, this current pandemic, we do have messaging that is being disseminated out weekly from our president, Mary Beth Brueggemann. If you want to get on our newsletter distribution list, you can go to missioncontinues.org. If you just want to know any updates that we have in light of COVID, we actually have a web page dedicated specifically for that through Mission Continues with all COVID updates. We understand that, you know, without our volunteers, the impact wouldn't be as large as it is now. And even being one of the newer members and newer programs of the Mission Continues and really working strategically to engage our local alumni. We even have an alumni of the Mission Continues Facebook group page where we're constantly working to build capacity off of the skills assets that our alumni provided. We've started a speaker series with our alum to where they will, our alumni are leading different virtual check-ins, not only to see how they're doing, but also to encourage professional growth opportunities. One of our first speaker series will actually occur tomorrow with a fellowship program alum by the name of Kenrick, who is an executive director through the John Maxwell team, and he'll be speaking on leading through adversity. It's going to be a great speaker series, and you know, we're always looking for alum that are willing to tell their journey, tell their story. You know, what was it like coming to and through the Mission Continues? Those stories are constantly being shared through our website, through our blog series, and now through our Charlie Mike channel. So if you haven't had the opportunity to view our YouTube page, it is called the Charlie Mike channel. And this is just another way that we are really building capacity off of our volunteers and all of the great assets that they have locally and across the nation. So please go to YouTube, look up the Charlie Mike channel, subscribe to it. I don't know if you can like it, all of the above. And if you are an alum that has, you know, a particular skill set that you think would be a great contribution to the Charlie Mike channel, we want to hear from you. So Tina has my information. It too will be posted with the recording of this interview process. And so there are tons of ways to continue engaging and connecting. Like Monique said earlier, the opportunity to go to a Pittsburgh platoon event, that opportunity wouldn't have been offered, you know, without something like this happening. So, you know, COVID silver linings. We are not only connecting with our local volunteers, but we're also able to connect with veterans all across the nation in a very unique way. So please continue to engage with us. Constantly check our Facebook and our webpage, where we are providing updates and opportunities for you all to continue to serve. Thank you, Tina.
Thanks so much, Tina. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.